Hey guys, this is Paul Murphy. If you've ever used Demio or ever heard of Demio, what I'm going to be doing today is I'm going to be giving you a complete review and a rundown of the services. So a few things to point out. If you're using webinar services, not to mention any names, but some of them out there are a little bit unreliable. Now, if you're sending ads or you're spending money on marketing or you're trying to do training and people can't get on or can't register or can't show up, then it's important for you to use a really reliable webinar software. And I've done a few tests with Demio. I've had a few clients use it, and I'm in a process now where I can actually recommend it because it's nothing short of amazing, and it's really simple to use. It's got no complicated sort of funnel setup. You can actually dig in and kind of get going, and you can actually set up a webinar in about 30 seconds. You can literally sort of go in, set one up, and off you go. So what I thought we'd do is we'll quickly dig in and have a look at Demio, and actually I'll show you the sort of pros and cons with that and other software. So let's have a look. So first and foremost, when we get into Demio, the first thing you will be able to get a 14-day free trial. Now you can add a card and upgrade at any time. You'll be able to use it with 25 registrants. So obviously it's just so you can get in and actually have a play around and have a feel with it. So when you're ready to go, you just add a card and then you can go up to 100. I think it goes 100, 500. We'll actually have a look at the pricing now. So this is the pricing as of today. So at the moment, you've got you can obviously pay monthly or annually, and it's slightly cheaper. So you can see the what you can do there. And obviously, if you want more, you can just get in touch with them, let them know, and they'll give you the price for that if you want to do more. But really reasonably priced. It's a really, really powerful platform. It works on every single browser. They're trying to get Safari fixed properly. It works on Safari, but obviously, you know, the screen sizing thing doesn't always screen size exactly the same. But that's the same with most of them, to be honest with you. A lot of them don't work on Safari because you need to kind of have that confirmation from Apple, and Apple is it's quite hard to get that kind of that agreement with Apple. And I actually spoke to one of the owners about this, and they said, yeah, they're working on that. But other than that, every single browser works absolutely completely fine, and it's pretty robust, and the service is pretty crisp as well. Like when you go in, it just comes up really good. So that's the first thing. But what we'll do, I'll log in. Okay, so we're now logged in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a new event. And then you can see how quick this is. So let's say, for instance, we're going to run this today. I'll press continue. Oh, yeah, webinar. Sorry, webinar today, I'll call this. And then press continue. And then description, you don't need to put anything if you don't want to. And then it's got if you just look here, you've got the date. And then you can add a series. If you want this to be, if you're doing a recurring weekly training, or you're doing some live selling, but you're doing a sort of a block set of selling for different time zones, perhaps, you can actually add those in, but you can just leave it as one if you're just doing one. Webinar preferences. So this one, what is your chat preference for attendees? Okay, so you can either have private or public. Private would mean that your attendees don't see each other's comments, so sometimes they work better on sales webinars. But if it's an interactive service where you're doing training and you want people to converse with each other, then obviously you can set that to public. That's fairly new, and that's really good. And you don't get that with some of the others. However, I would say to you, if you want public, use Demio, because Demio gives you that offer. Do you want to redirect attendees after the webinar? That's really good. Obviously, you can just put in a URL. So when the webinar finishes, if you've got an offer or you've got a page or some training, further training, it will just take them straight there. I'll leave that a no. And then I'll just show you that, though. As you can see, you just put it in there. And then obviously you can add coordinators as you want there. And then you're pretty much ready to go. I mean, if I wasn't showing you that, I could have done that in about 2 seconds. So we'll just press save, and there you go. And then if somebody wants to register for the webinar, obviously they just click on there, and it would come up with whatever you put here. You can change the colours on this. I'll just show you that. So if we go to edit, There's a few options, obviously, for editing. So if the webinar's now and you just want to run it to your list, obviously that's all you need to do. You just send them an email, send them that link, and they're ready. They're good to go. Obviously, if it's a sales webinar, it's something what you need to configure a bit more for presentation before they hop on. There's a few things you can do. You can have some reminders go out, and obviously you can turn those off and on straight away, 24 hours before, 1 hour before, or 15 minutes before. That's absolutely fine. And then you've got registration here. This is where you can change the page. So you just come in here. Obviously, you can change the title. You can put in a logo, and you can literally just change it to whatever colour you want. We'll make that a nice red. There you go. And that's done. And if you want to put anything else in here, you can put as much as you want, really. So you can kind of have this as a landing page if you want to do it that way. One of the things I like to do is, because people are getting quite used to the one-click registration system where or double opt-in. So sorry, not double opt-in, what's the word I'm looking for, where you click the registration button and then you get the pop-up. Two-step opt-in. So somebody clicks on that and it pops up. You could use that as the pop-up, this page, so you could just keep it bare minimum like this, and you can actually have it set with your landing page software to just come up in a new window, so it just kind of, it looks like the pop-up. It's a little hack that I worked out, which is quite good. So you can do it that way if you want to use your own landing page. You know, there's lots of ways you can do this, but they've kept it really simple for you. You can do it however you want, and you can embed this. Actually, I'm just going to show you this bit here. Just this bit, you can embed that on your landing page as well. So you don't even have to have the two-step. You can just have it all from your landing page straight into the webinar. So that's really good. So let's go back to here. No, we don't want to go back to there. We want to go out of here. Here we go. So that's for your registration. If you want to synchronize it with any of your autoresponders, you can do that. You can add rules, for instance, if they register or if they leave early or if they don't turn up for the webinar, all that sort of stuff. I'll just quickly show you that. There you go. And then you can just sync this with your autoresponder. I'm not going to do that now because it's fairly straightforward, but you can literally sync all this really, really seamlessly with your autoresponder. And then you've got... you can pre-organise materials so that they pop up. You can just make them pop up during the webinar without having to kind of do anything technical. While you're chatting, while you're doing your presentation, just press a button and off you go. So you can add YouTube videos as well. So if you wanted to have part of your presentation as pre-recorded, you can do that from a YouTube videos, which is really good. So as you can see, video presentation. You can put in a link, a URL. You can upload some PDFs. You know, any ebooks or anything that you can sort of upload that's kind of, you know, that you can literally just send them on the presentation. You can do that as well. So you've got that, and then obviously tracking. You can set up all your pixels with Facebook, with Demio. Everything's trackable. You can get tracking links and everything like that. I'm just going to quickly show you that. There you go. Put all your thank you page head, webinar room page head, etc. So really, really clean and crisp and simple. But the most important thing that I like about it is that it works. It just simply works out of the gate. And you don't need to spend hours thinking about it. You don't need to spend, you don't need sort of to work out how their landing page software works. And there are other software out there that will actually, you can't actually change the landing page software that much. It's a little bit technical, and you don't have the option of using your own landing page software. I know, for instance, with Webinar Jam you can use your own landing page for the registration, but for the rest of the process you've got to use their thank you pages. They do now have landing pages, but you have to use them, whereas this, you can redirect your own landing page. You can have this just as the webinar platform. Now, the other great thing about this is that you do not need to pay. So, for instance, with Webinar Jam, if you want to do EverWebinar, which is auto webinars, you need two pieces of software, right? They do talk to each other, but you need EverWebinar and Webinar Jam. And you have to purchase both if you want to do live and replay. With Demio, let me show you this. You don't need to do that. Really, really cool. So the first thing as well, I'll just show you one other thing. Once you've created an event and you've set up all the settings exactly how you want them, when you want to create new events, you can just click add new event. I'll just show you this. And then you can just literally copy the settings from any previous event. So it will load them up there. And you can literally just select one and it will copy all the settings over. So, you know, everything will be the same. And then you can just go in and edit it the same way you would a new one. So that's really good. And the other thing you can do is that once you've run a webinar, the great thing is that Demio automatically records every single webinar. So you don't need to go in and think about it or worry about it. It's just done for you. And then what you can do is you can choose you can get your past events from here. You can choose one of your past events and you can create a like live replay, which is auto webinar. And it will have everything, and it literally is like live. So everything that you've done within that webinar. So if you've populated some, if you've spoke to people in the webinar and said things during it, like you've typed in, or if you've had any presentation notes, if you've done anything that's popped up from your end in the webinar, if you've actually enabled the public chat and all the chat lines come up, they will all come up as well. So obviously, you know, you can configure it how you want, but basically it's exact replica, but they register for it. It's a just in time, so they register for it and it does a countdown 3, 2, 1 and you're good to go. So I'm going to show you that just now. So here's one of my like live replays. So this is live training with Paul Murphy. Now, the only thing that might happen when you press preview here, this is a really good feature, but it might not be very good for training, is that if somebody starts watching it and they get distracted and they go away, if they come back, they can watch it from where they left off. So this may go from where I left off, but we'll see. How you all doing? And there it is, you see. So you can't pause it or anything. It's exactly live, and obviously messages are here. Really, really good. And any resources or anything that comes up now, I'm going to close that because I can hear myself and I can't hear myself talk. So that's basically, you know, that is your auto webinar, which is really, really cool. So you can have, you know, you can literally just have a link. What you can do if you're using ClickFunnels or anything that's got a countdown timer is that you could have a link to your after they've registered, to your thank you page, saying the webinar started at whatever time you want the autoplay to start, and then have it redirected to that link, and then it will do the countdown and start. So that's another cool hack, is that you can literally, like, if you don't want it just in time, if you wanted it, say, on the hour or half an hour, or you want it twice a day or something like that, you would just put a landing page with a button that says register. You collect the lead like you normally would, and have it sent to your autoresponder. Then you'd have a thank you page with, you know, you could have an on the hour timer set, and you just say webinar will start at, and then you have it counting down, and then when the countdown's finished, you just have it set to go straight to your auto webinar. So that's another hack I figured out as well, which works really well if you don't want them to have just in time, like that second, because quite often people are not quite ready for that. Like especially if you're doing marketing, you say, oh, I've got a live presentation today, and then suddenly it starts. It's like, oh, and you can't stop it, right? So quite often you might lose people because they might just disappear and think, well, I wasn't quite ready for that. Whereas if you give them an hour, you can give them a landing page, you can actually give them a video telling them how to prepare and all that sort of stuff. So that's just another little hack. So hopefully you really enjoyed that. So if you want to keep informed, I've put a link down below, by the way, if you want to get in. It's my affiliate links down below, and you can get a 14-day free trial to try out the platform and actually have a play around. So if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel. I'm always coming out with more training. I'm doing experiments on all different types of software. So make sure you make a comment below and hit the bell if you want to get notified of anything that comes up as it comes up. So have a great day, and I'll speak to you soon.